Downton Abbey gives us the perfect amount of glamour and powerful drama. From the stories of the wealthy Crawley family to those of their servants, we can't seem to get enough of this show. But what are the things that make a great episode of the drama? So now, in this video, we're going to talk about the 14 best-ranked episodes of the series. First off, let's talk about Season 1, Episode 7. With great cinematography, this episode not only makes Miss O'Brien one of the most hated characters in the whole series, but it also makes the sight of a bar of soap really creep you out. We also see Mary discover Edith's vengefulness, Mr. Carson admit his support for Matthew, Anna find out the truth about the accusations against Mr. Bates, and so on. But by the end, we realize why this show's so addicting, and it hints at how well it would deliver on its dramatic promises. Next up, we have Season 1, Episode 3. Many of us remember this episode as the first juicy bit of drama on the show. Not only is the famous Mr. Pamuk the perfect mix of mysterious and handsome, but he's also the kind of man that young girls would be instantly drawn to. But we realize that he's more trouble than he's worth as soon as he makes Mr. Barrow show him where the bedroom of the oldest Crawley sister is. Of course, there's more to this episode than just this scandal. We get to see Mr. Bates try to use a straightening boot, and we also get to hear a discussion about a typewriter downstairs. But let's be honest, this entry is all about setting up Lady Mary's crazy love life and the reputation she'll get in society. Following up, there's Season 2, Episode 9. If you've never seen Downton Abbey before and want to know why so many of us love it, this Christmas episode from Season 2 is the perfect way to start. It's full of Christmas spirit and has all the usual shenanigans from the Crawley family. She brings her sassy maid to her brother Robert's large estate. Violet lies about the family not being at Sybil's Dublin wedding, and everyone gets involved in Bates's life-changing trial. But Lady Mary and the love triangle she's in are the real meat and potatoes of this chapter. And of course, Matthew's snowy proposal at the end was definitely a cherry on top. Not to mention Season 6, Episode 9. With a show like Downton Abbey that ran for so long, it was always hard to guess what the last episode would be like. Would it have all the drama that made other season finales so exciting, or tie everything in a bow like they did in the 1920s? It was definitely the latter. Simply put, it's a cute and satisfying end to the story. It does get a little intense and makes you cry a few times, but mostly, it's just a comforting blanket of entertainment. It paid off for those of us who were there from the first time the opening theme played. Moving on to Season 3, Episode 5. If we were asked which episode upset us the most, it was probably this one. It's amazing how much of an emotional gut punch Julian Fellowes and the rest of the Downton Abbey team can pack into 49 minutes between the birth of Sybil's daughter and the untimely death of our favorite Crawley sister. By the end, the episode became hard to follow, but it was worth watching how well the actors did their jobs. Up next, let's talk about Season 2, Episode 5. As the effects of World War I become part of the Crawley family's lives, the story goes full speed ahead during the 5th chapter of Season 2. Not only do we get to see Lady Mary and Matthew's sad but beautiful reunion, but a badly hurt William Mason asks Daisy to marry him. This episode is full of the raw emotions that we love to see from the show's talented cast, from Dan Stevens' brilliant performance as a war-torn Matthew to Michelle Dockery finally letting Mary wear her heart on her sleeve. But what makes it shine is how earnestly Thomas Howes plays William. Now, for Season 3, Episode 3, we can all agree that Lady Edith is the one Downton Abbey character who deserves a happy ending. As the middle Crawley sister, she's had her share of bad things happen to her over the course of the series, and the episode about her disastrous marriage to Sir Anthony Strachan was the saddest yet. The episode starts off well, with scenes of Edith telling her family how happy she is that they're finally paying attention to her, but it's heartbreaking to see Sir Anthony's once positive view of their May-December relationship quickly change. This leads to one of the most shocking chains of events in the whole show. Coming up, we have Season 6, Episode 5. Was the scene of Lord Grantham's ulcer exploding in the middle of a meal one that we'll always remember? Absolutely. But it didn't just stop there. We also had Dr. Clarkson and the Denker fight with Lady Mary and Branson taking charge of the community around them. Overall, this episode's all about the comforts of life changing in an instant. Of course, it's a big idea that comes up a lot in the show, but it's still one of the better episodes that goes deep into the subject. Let's also look at Season 2, Episode 8. From Lady Sybil's announcement that she'll marry her chauffeur-turned-journalist Tom Branson to more than one character getting the Spanish flu, this part of Downton Abbey's history feels like a roller coaster that gets crazier as it goes. Don't forget that Lord Grantham had an affair with housemaid Jane Moorsome, and that Lavinia Swire, Matthew's fiancée, died near the end of the episode. And the fact that Mr. Bates was arrested for killing his ex-wife was the most shocking turn of events. It made us all realize that this usually comforting show would go to some dark places in later seasons. Following up, we have Season 5, Episode 8. Even though many silly things are happening in the different plots, this episode does a great job of mixing drama with emotional payoffs. There's the well-done ending to Lady Rose's storyline about her wedding, and the tear-jerking scene where Lord Grantham gives Miss Beryl Patmore a special memorial for her late nephew. They show how great Downton can be when it gives credit to characters who deserve it for being good. It's also an episode where Lady Rose McClare and our beloved Anna Smith are thrown some truly ridiculous curveballs, portraying the type of drama we enjoy. Let's learn more about Season 1, Episode 4. 4. Who could forget Sybil wearing her famous blue pants? This episode should be on the list just because of this scene. Also, Lady Mary is the most important part of this episode. She deals with Mr. Pammock's death. Matthew Crawley's commitment to becoming the family heir makes her feel like her father has rejected her. Along with this, Lady Sybil's awareness of women's rights and Mrs. Hughes' decision not to get back with her old flame add to the episode's main themes. It doesn't have as much bite as some of the Dowager's best sass, but it's a great example of how well the characters grow naturally and don't shy away from real-world events. Up next, Season 2, Episode 1. The second season of Downton Abbey starts with a big bang, showing how much World War I has changed the show. This episode sets the tone for the rest of the season, from Sarah O'Brien smoking out back to Thomas Barrow doing anything painful to get away from the battlefield. It not only puts many of the show's most popular characters to the test, but also has even more drama than the last one. But what makes this one of the best is that it shows how Julian Fellowes isn't afraid to bring characters together and quickly tear them apart. Not to mention Season 4, Episode 9. Season 4's Christmas special is the most fun of the show's Christmas episodes, with Lady Rose meets the royal family at Buckingham Palace and Lady Cora Crawley's American family coming to visit. This episode loves to look at the beauty and silliness of high society. It does have a few strange parts here and there, but the guest stars and the great chemistry between Mr. Carson and Mrs. Hughes makes it easy to overlook its flaws because of how entertaining it is. Finally, Season 5, Episode 6. Season 5 of Downton Abbey was more predictable than usual, but Episode 6 sped up the story even more. It's got some crazy parts, like when Lady Mary gets a new hairstyle that makes her stand out, and when Lady Edith finds out that her missing lover was killed. This part of the Downton Abbey story is completely off the rails in some juicy ways. Despite all the chaos, it also has some charming parts, thanks to Lady Violet. Violet's on fire every second she's on screen, whether it's a sweet moment between her and her mysterious ex-lover, Prince Igor Kuragin, or a funny exchange with the new maid, Gladys Denker. She's got just the right amount of strict and sassy. That's a wrap for this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.